Hey everyone, what's up? I'm gonna do a video that's not film related this time, and this is actually a video I've been planning to do for quite some time now, actually. Because if you don't know, I guess every day is a national day. Today is, as I'm recording this, that is, today is National Superhero Day, and I got my Batman shirt on to celebrate. And I've been wanting to do a video that I've been meaning to do for quite some time, my comic book collection, because I guess I've probably made it pretty clear that I'm a massive comic book fan. Like I really like comic books, like not just superheroes, but like even other stuff I still really like. I mean, I don't have I don't exactly own a heck of a lot, but I got a pretty decent collection so far. There's definitely more I want to get sometime. Like there's definitely certain characters I will get. Like I still don't have any Captain America comics, which I do really want to get more of those. I'm trying to read more Superman comics. I really want to try to get more. Uh, I want to get the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the '80s uh, first run, and even non superhero related stuff. I want to read all the Scott Pilgrim because I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the Netflix anime, though I do want to check that one out soon. So yeah, this is only like half of my collection, so because this is going to be a two-part video, as I say, because just like my Nickelodeon movies ranking, if I do it in one video, it's going to be extremely long. So I guess if the title isn't clear enough, what I'm going to show you is only part of my collection. It's not the whole thing. All right, first one I got here is Fantastic Four, the world's greatest comic magazine. This is quite a good one. I got this because I got this for Christmas one year because I wanted to read some Fantastic Four because the Fantastic Four are such an iconic Marvel Comics team. In fact, they're always called Marvel's first family, and they're very important to the Marvel universe. And I know they are not in the MCU, although they are going to, which that goes to show a lot of casuals only care about the MCU when it comes to Marvel because the Avengers aren't everything. There's plenty of other characters too, and this is a good comic. I mean, it's a decent one to start with if you want to get into Fantastic Four. This run came out in 2001 and it I think ended in 2002, but it really captures that 60s Silver Age Fantastic Four because that's when the Fantastic Four were huge. And it's not just them. This was around the time where Crystal was part of the Fantastic Four, or if you don't know, Crystal is part of the Inhumans. So it was definitely cool to have the Fantastic Four interact with someone else, and but while not stealing the spotlight for them. So it is a good story. And you even get some of the Avengers in there, like Namor and Captain America, and yeah, and there's some of the other Inhumans, like there's Black Bolt and Medusa, and there's it's honestly not a bad start if you want to get into Fantastic Four. So if you want to get into them before the movie's out next year, I'd recommend this. I don't think the movie's taking direct inspiration from it. I don't know if any the movie's inspired by any comic run, but I think this is a good comic. Next year is Daredevil and Echo. I got this earlier this year after I watched the show Echo, and yes, I did like Echo. I thought it was really good. Definitely one of the MCU's best projects in a long time. And I never had any Daredevil comics, although I do really like Daredevil as a character. I love the Netflix show, and I actually love the movie. Although when I reviewed the movie, I don't know if I got to mention this, but the version I saw was the director's cut, so maybe that's why I actually liked it because that's considered the superior one. But it's a good one, and even Ghost Rider is also in this comic, and it's really good. Like obviously, like Daredevil, there's a lot of religious symbolism throughout it, and you see you see lots of really cool artwork, like lots of the fire effects and lots of the darkness that you'd expect from Daredevil. Like it's really cool. It's a pretty good book. If you want to get into Daredevil, I mean, I don't know if I'd say maybe start with the actual character himself, but it's still a good story, even if you liked the Echo show, I think, and you want to get into the character more. I definitely suggest this. Here we got here is Hellboy: The Bones of Giants. This is a standalone story. It's not a particular volume or anything, although I'll get to the ones very, very soon, like the next ones. Uh, and it's a good story. I do really like Hellboy as a character. After I saw the Guillermo del Toro movie, I did want to get into more of him as a character, and Hellboy's a really good character. And Mike Mignola is has a very like unique art style. Like it's very blocky and with lots of like rigid lines. That's I don't really know how to describe it, but like yeah, look, it's like it's kind of a unique looking art style. And there's gonna be a Hellboy video game that that was announced last summer, and I saw the trailer for it, and the graphics look like they really got the art style down. So I'm definitely excited for that, and it's a good story. It's not too long, like if unlike the Hellboy omnibus volumes, which have a lot of stories. This is just one simple one. So if you want to get into Hellboy but don't want to read a heck of a lot, then it's good. It's good for what it is without knowing too much. Yeah, here are the other two Hellboy issues I was checking out. This is Hellboy Omnibus Volume 1 Seed of Destruction. And this one I got for Christmas last year. Hellboy Omnibus Volume 2 Strange Places. And next are some interesting ones that came out. This run came out in 2018, so I don't know if it was probably due to the movie coming out, but Venom. Uh, this run it's interesting, although Venom's a character that like while I did like the really like the first Venom movie, the second one was okay. I did I did really like how they explored Venom as a character, and like yeah, in these comics aren't really as interesting as a Spider-Man comic. Like something about the world and like lots of the scenarios, like they're fun and cool, but they kind of lack the big setting we're used to for Spider-Man. So it's very different, but that's kind of what makes it unique. If you love action, then these are definitely up your alley because they do have a lot of cool action in it and lots of like really grim looking visuals, like what you'd expect from Venom. So it's kind of fun because that's kind of the interesting thing about Venom is that he's such like a grim, like terrifying kind of character, even though Spider-Man's a lighthearted fun character. And okay, when I say lighthearted, I don't mean people think comedy and light are the same thing or dark and serious are the same thing. No, like this legit doesn't feel like a Spider-Man type comic, but it's good to explore the world, and I do like this one for that. And here's the other ones I got. Sorry if I'm not going into a heck of a lot of detail of all of them. This is Hellboy the Abyss. No, not Hellboy. Venom the Abyss. And this next one is actually this was part of an event called War of the Realms Venom, and it collects issues 13 to 15, which was after this one, so I had to add it. So, not that I'd be confused or anything, but just that. And then Venom Absolute Carnage, and Carnage is my favorite Spider-Man villain. I don't know if I've made that clear. Like, I think he's really cool. I like seeing him, slash and murderize people. And I mean, Let There Be Carnage was okay, but it was a bit disappointing. It really kind of felt like it tried to cram so much into a small runtime, and it felt a little underwhelming. But this is a good story. If you want to see more of Venom and Carnage together, I think this is a really cool story. And of course, like the artwork is really cool. Like it's very grotesque and very stylish, and it's almost kind of body horror esque, and that's kind of what I like about Venom is that he's so gross but so interesting as a character. So it's not a bad run. I mean, if you prefer Venom to interact with Spider-Man, you might not like this run, but so far from what I've read, like it's interesting enough. It's, unlike these other ones, these ones aren't. These are the only ones that actually aren't superhero related that I have, and well, technically they're based on a TV show, so I guess they don't really count as like comic series, but I guess technically it is. Invader Zim. I've I remember years ago, like when my channel was still early, I kind of disown a lot of my old stuff. I never really want to bring them up, but I did. I've probably mentioned I love Invader Zim because I reviewed it once, and it's such a good show. And these comics are really good. Like you don't even need to watch the show to understand them because they. I mean, yeah, there's some callbacks here and there, but nothing you really need to know. They're more so like Easter eggs that you know, and it's because Invader Zim didn't have a proper finale because it ended because I think it was because it was too expensive or something. But it's really good if you want more Invader Zim because the show didn't have much episodes. Definitely check out this comic run. There's a lot of like weird stories, and it's basically like a modernized take on Invader Zim. Well, not modern, but like they like showcase a lot of modern day stuff and even like parody some modern day pop culture. So it's really interesting and it's a good continuation of Invasion. I mean, you don't even really need to watch the show to like this. Like, as if you like weird stuff about aliens and such, Invaders is definitely good. And here's the last volume I have. Three. There's 8 volumes of these of Invaders, I believe. So yeah, I might. I don't. I can't really find them much anywhere except maybe like volume like 7 or 8. So I'm gonna try and find more of them sometime. And here's one I got a while ago: Thor: First Thunder, the first Thor comic I ever got. And yeah, this is actually a good introduction to Thor. The whole thing is that it's about his first year on Earth. That's why it's called First Thunder. And it really goes in depth about how Thor got used to our world and how he adopted the name Donald Blake, if you know. And they even showcase some other characters of the Marvel Universe he interacts with, like you see Mr. Fantastic and such. And it's a really cool comic. It's a 5 issue miniseries, so you don't really need to read anything, but I do like this one. I mean, I love Thor as a character. I mean, it's hard not to. He's so cool because if you love, you know, what do you call it? Like mythological Greek mythology, it's Thor's definitely a great character and Marvel property to love. So this one is Birds of Prey Harley Quinn, which came out around when Birds of Prey came out, obviously. I mean, it's kind of evident by the cover because, well, that's Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. And this one contains like a bunch of Harley Quinn stories like Harley Quinn's Secret Origins, Harley Quinn's Future End, and Harley Quinn issue 1 through 7, which I believe is, yeah, it's the DC Rebirth Harley Quinn, which I actually have some of those. I'll get to that soon. And I love Harley Quinn as a character. It's really no secret. So it's definitely good to have this. Like if you love the Birds of Prey movie just as much as I did, this is great to pick up because Margot Robbie, she's amazing. She nails Harley Quinn, and just reading this, you could tell, oh yeah, this is definitely what she's like as a character. And Harley Quinn, like you can't go wrong with her, so it's great to read. And here's another Birds of Prey one, Huntress. And I don't have the Black Canary one. I do see the Black Canary one in, whenever I go shopping, like in Indigo and such, to get comics. And this one particularly, though, unlike the Harley Quinn one, it's not just a bunch of random stories. This is actually one flat out uh, miniseries called Huntress, Batman Huntress Cry for Blood, which was a particular inspiration for the Huntress and Birds of Prey. And yeah, I know one of the common criticisms in Birds of Prey was that Huntress and Black Canary aren't in the movie much, but I think they are. I mean, yeah, they don't team up till the end, but they still establish the characters well, and it's a good crime story. And you see Batman in a lot of it, and it's a real and even Nightwing. It makes Huntress like it. She's a really cool character. I loved her in Birds of Prey, and it's a shame with how bad the DCU was mismanaged. We're never gonna see Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress again, but oh well. But this is a good story to read if you loved her in Birds of Prey. It's a great way to know the character. Right. This one is Wonder Woman Paradise Lost. This is the only Wonder Woman comic I have, and I also got this for Christmas last year, and this is this is the first part of Phil Jimenez's run on Wonder Woman. The back says it's the first 7 issues, but it's not. It's only like yeah, I don't know, but like I read somewhere it's not the first 7 issues, so I don't know. But this is a cool comic. I don't have much Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's another property like I'm trying to get more comics of, but it's a really cool comic because Wonder Woman is a cool character. Like she's all about peace and war, but also there's a lot of fantasy settings, and she has a lot of interesting, mystical villains. So it definitely makes her a cool character, and I do think this is a good comic to read if you're a Wonder Woman fan because it has basically bounces out fantasy and war and everything you love about Wonder Woman. I also do want to try to get the DC Rebirth Wonder Woman comics because I do know like there's a whole arc about how there's a team called God Watch, which is basically kind of like Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery but together, which sounds like an interesting story. I do want to check those out. So, and speaking of DC Rebirth, these are the next few ones I got. Harley Quinn. I got the some of the most of the Harley Quinn DC Rebirth. I got the first 5 volumes, and there's 8 in total. I got this one for Christmas in like I want to say 2019, 20, 2019, I think. But it's really good. Like if you love the Harley Quinn cartoon, the one with Kaylee Cuoco, or Birds of Prey, this is a great one to check out. It's basically everything I love about Harley Quinn as a character. I mean, I loved Harley Quinn in Batman the Animated Series, but I love how for over the years she's really grown bigger as a character. I mean, she was always an A-lister ever because she Batman the Animated Series made her instantly popular because she was made for there. But she's in so much media and she's such a wacky, zany character. She's basically one of the closest things you'll get to a cartoon character that in a comic book. Well, I guess aside from maybe the mask or something, but that's basically what's like. Especially Birds of Prey was essentially a live action gritty Looney Tunes movie, and I loved it for that. So yeah, if you love Harley Quinn, I mean, I know lots of people say I'm tired of her. I think she's a great character, and there's a lot of different characters for her to interact with, like Poison Ivy, who if you don't know, she's in a relationship with her in this and a lot of other Harley Quinn media. There's this guy named Red Tool who's supposed to be a spoof of Deadpool, and you get a lot of other Gotham characters. So it's really cool. And most of them, lots of it takes place in Coney Island, which was Harley Quinn's hometown because Harley Quinn's from New Jersey, I guess, judging by the accent, of course. And the whole thing is that she's basically kind of fed up with her life, but of course, everything's always after her, just like Birds of Prey. So it's really interesting for a character that you think would work best as a side character. She really works well with our characters. Like there's the Gotham City Sirens, Poison Ivy and Catwoman. And no, I don't have Gotham City Sirens yet, but I kind of want to get Batman R.I.P. and Final Crisis beforehand because you're supposed to read those beforehand. But yeah, it's a weird zany run, but that's what makes it so fun. Like it's basically everything you like about Harley Quinn, and there's pretty much nothing more you can want. So yeah, so sorry. All right, and the next three are the Suicide Squad DC Rebirth ones. These came out after the first Suicide Squad movie came out, so that's why the lineup is very so like it literally has just about everybody from the first Suicide Squad movie. Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Enchantress, Killer Croc, Katana, Rick Flag, like it has everybody, and they're a good introduction to the modern day Suicide Squad because lots of the early Suicide Squad ones, I do have some of those. I'll probably show that in the second part. Lots of the early ones are very much, down to earth war stories with political satire. The new ones are kind of more zany missions with a more kind of goofier, outrageous tone. So it's basically kind of like the second Suicide Squad movie, The Suicide Squad, was basically a mix of all of them. So that's kind of what made it kind of cool. So it's a good run. I mean, if you liked the first Suicide Squad movie, I mean, I know a lot of people didn't, but if you did like it, I'd highly suggest this comic run because it has a lineup you're familiar with, it if you just want to see super villains go on a mission, then you got it. I only have the first three volumes. I just need five more, and then I'm done. I know the for some reason most of the comic series I started, lots of the other volumes are hard to find. But okay, this is the last one I'm gonna show because I don't want this video to get too long. I'm gonna do a part two later. Uh, this is the only Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one I have, The Last Ronin. And yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles count as superheroes. They originated in a comic book and they fight supervillains, so they count. And I don't have any of the other like the original 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. I know they have, I've seen some of them called like Ultimate Collections or something, which are, they're unbelievably large for some reason, but this is an awesome comic. It's kind of like the 2007 animated TMNT movie, which I know initially when I reviewed that movie many years ago, I know I'm being hypocritical by mentioning my outdated videos, but I said that movie was kind of meh, but I've kind of grown to like it actually because that movie is basically made for older fans. It's basically made for people who grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, and this whole story is about how Michelangelo is the lesser because the other three turtles have been killed, and that's the whole joke. Because Michelangelo, he's the goofball. He's the last one you'd expect to be the sole survivor and the hero. So it's a really good comic, and I've heard they're making a video game based on this comic, and there's even going to be a live action movie in development that they confirmed recently. So that should be cool. I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles haven't been on the big screen live action since Out of the Shadows, which didn't do so well. Which it's a shame. I didn't think it was that bad. So, and it has some really cool, artwork. Very, I like all the kind of the muted, gritty colors. Like it makes it feel like a more because obviously it takes place in a distant future, so it's very looks very apocalyptic, and it's basically showing the aftermath, and even some kind of are black and white to reminisce of the old original 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. So it's a fantastic story. If you love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I highly recommend. So you don't even need any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics to like this one. Like you can just read this on its own. As long as you know who the characters are, you'll like it. So alright, I'm gonna stop here because I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm gonna split this into two parts. So I'll get to part two very soon. I don't know if I'll do it tonight, but I don't know. I'll do it when I feel like it. I'll do it after this video is uploaded sometime. So yeah, alright, I'll see you in a bit.